This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. The world is in darkness and overlooks many critical developments, threatening its very existence. One of those developments has to do with Russia and with Vladimir Putin. And even though the world might look at all kinds of different things, they don't seem to realize that Russia under Vladimir Putin is in fact a real threat to world security and survival. I'd like to read to you to begin with from an article by Deutsche Welle, dated December 30. Russia's Vladimir Putin has claimed that Poland was on board with Hitler's plans and that Poland was responsible for the start of World War II. Dear President Putin, Hitler and Stalin colluded to start World War II. That is a fact. Poland was a victim of this horrible conflict, US envoy Mosbacher wrote in a tweet. The German ambassador Rolf Nickel echoed Mosbacher's statement, referring to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact under Hitler and Stalin. He said, "The Soviet Union, together with Germany, took part in the brutal partitioning of Poland." And then the article in Deutsche Welle goes on to explain, World War II began in 1939, when Poland was invaded by Nazi Germany, followed by Soviet Russia 2 weeks later. Around 6 million Polish citizens were killed during the war. By Germans, yes, but also by Russians. And so the interesting thing is that Putin's attempts to whitewash Russia of its horrible crimes, past and present, seems to be quite successful in certain corners of the earth. But they are pathetic. And they show a very dangerous mindset. Because Putin already invaded former Soviet satellite states, and recently he invaded Crimea. And you can be rest assured that he is attempting to work something out to invade at least parts of Ukraine. At the same time, he's building up his enormous military power. The Associated Press wrote on December 27, a new intercontinental weapon, the Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle, that can fly 27 times the speed of sound. Did you get that? 27 times the speed of sound. It became operational Friday, bolstering the country's nuclear strike capability. The Avangard is launched atop an intercontinental ballistic missile, and it can make sharp maneuvers in the atmosphere, making it much harder to intercept. It carries a nuclear weapon of up to 2 megatons. But let's not forget China. China has tested its own hypersonic glide vehicle, believed to be capable of traveling at least 5 times the speed of sound. But of course, America doesn't have any. And it is being said that at least it will take 2 years to develop one. Putin, not unlike Stalin, is preparing for an outright war. But this time it will be fought with highly sophisticated nuclear weapons. Now, the Bible does not indicate at all that a nuclear war, is going to take place between Russia and the United States. But it is showing us that a nuclear war is going to take place between a united Europe under German leadership and Russia and its allies, including countries like China. And at the same time, Russia, China, other dictatorships are trying hard to make sure that their people are staying in the dark, that their people are becoming and are remaining to be totally oblivious to what is going on in the world and in their countries. AFP wrote on December 28. The United Nations on Friday approved a Russian-led bid that aims to create a new convention of cybercrime. Many fear that the purpose is to restrict online freedom. The United States, European powers, and right groups fear that the language is code for legitimizing crackdowns on expression, with numerous countries defining criticism of the government as criminal. China heavily restricts internet searches to avoid topics sensitive to its communist leadership, as well as news sites with critical coverage. A number of countries have increasingly tried to turn off the internet, with India cutting off access to Kashmir in August, and Iran taking much of the country offline as it cracked down on protests in November. Human Rights Watch calls the UN resolution, the list of sponsors, a gallery of some of the Earth's most repressive governments. Now again, who is involved in all of this? Russia, China, other dictatorships, trying to limit, trying to suppress the freedom of expression. And then you have the hypocritical UN, which has become an organization which is more and more sponsoring and supporting dictatorships, and especially those left-leaning dictatorships. Now, in light of that, I was struck when I read the following article, struck by the complete ignorance, it seems, of the German people. And I don't think that the German people are an exception to what is going on. Deutsche Welle wrote on December 26 that Germans were asked in a poll who was more dangerous and the greatest threat to world peace. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Russian President Vladimir Putin, or US President Donald Trump. Now maybe you guessed the result. Some 41% of Germans said they thought Trump was the most dangerous out of the 5 world leaders. That's 41%. In the second place was Kim with 17%, followed by Putin and Khamenei with 8%. And coming in last was China's Xi with 7%. So only 8% of Germans felt that Putin was a very strong threat to world peace, much less so than President Trump. I mean, this shows an unbelievable mischaracterization and misunderstanding of what KGB spy, former KGB spy Putin, the proverbial chameleon, is all up to. They seem to be blind and uninformed. And that perspective might be mirrored, probably is mirrored, by their current and their future leadership. But this can result, and it will result, in catastrophic consequences. Because Putin is terribly underestimated, but Russia is finally going to be perceived by the Europeans as a threat to their security. Because Europe, according to the Bible, will hear frightening and disturbing rumors from the Far East, including Russia, China, and other allies. And then we read in the book of Daniel, in other places, that Europe will go out with great vengeance, with a great desire to stop whatever they may be hearing. But they will not succeed. Because we also read that Russia and those Far Eastern nations will respond in a brutal and merciless way with nuclear weapons, trying to wipe out continental Europe. And that is the point in time, my friends, which describes the end of nuclear World War III. The end because Jesus Christ will come back to shorten those days, make an end to these days, because the Bible says, if he were not to come back, if he were not to shorten these days, then no human being would survive. We can see right now how these events are forming, how they are already taking place to an extent. And in a very, very few years from now, in a very short time, we will be facing nuclear World War III. You are being warned today. We have prepared a free booklet, Biblical Prophecy from Now Until Forever. And this booklet describes in much detail what is going to happen in a very short time. So please ask for a free copy. And until next time, this is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.